Hello and welcome to the big picture. The issue of caste-based reservation in this country has always been a divisive one. However, political parties of almost all hue and cry have now come to accept this as a reality, and there is hardly a political party which would like to debate it. However, a senior general secretary of the Congress party has set the cat among the pigeons, so to say, by coming out openly against caste-based reservations. Janardhan Dwivedi in a statement has said that caste-based reservations has to end as it is not helping those who are really needy. He has also suggested to Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi to include this suggestion in the Congress manifesto. The UPA government today, however, denied having any such plans as suggested by Dwivedi, and the Congress party has dismissed it as an individual opinion. However, should there be a relook on the entire issue of reservations in this country? Can the reservations shift from caste-based to class-based? Can the group-centric reservations which are now followed be moved to individual-centric one? We will discuss all this today with Husain Dalwai, Congress MP, DP Tripathi, NCP MP, Nilotpal Basu, Central Committee member, will be joining us soon of the CPIM, Dr. Kaushal Kant Mishra, National President of Youth for Equality, and Anant Bagaitkar, Chief of Bureau of Sakaal newspaper. Welcome to all of you. Mr. Tripathi, the suggestion made by the Congress General Secretary as is something which I am sure is in the minds of a lot of people, but all political parties seem to be opposed to this idea. But do you think that the atmosphere is right in this country now for a renewed debate on this whole issue of caste-based reservations?
The country should be open to any debate in a democracy. There are various aspects.
Yes.
Aspects about the reservations, which is not merely caste-based, but it should be based on various dimensions of socio-economic backwardness in the country.
Right.
I would tell you something which is never reported in the media, is what students had done in Jawaharlal Nehru University in 1973.
Right.
We talked about reservations in admissions to the university.
Right.
Now, what is the basis of the reservation? We said in India, backwardness is not merely economic or social, it is socio-economic.
Right.
So we said out of 100 marks, there will be 20 marks for socio-economic deprivation. What is that socio-economic deprivation? We defined it, and I must inform your viewers that the students decided that 7 marks should be given to all those who have the income, whose guardians have incomes below 1,000 rupees per month. Okay?
In those days?
They should have, second, they will be given 4 marks if they are born and educated till high school in the 4th quartile backward districts of India, from Ganjam to Tanjavur to any backward district of India, but they should have high school education there.
Right.
Not that they have only certificate. Okay?
Right.
Then first generation higher education achievers.
Right.
Okay? Then handicapped and socio-economic backward, who are backwards, OBCs.
Right.
They'll have 4 marks. And 9 marks to scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. So they will have 20 marks, the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. Other will have 17 marks before they appear for the interview.
Right.
That was a socio-economic dimension of reservations in India. In India, reservation is neither should be economic nor social. It has to be socio-economic. And I think this debate should be conducted in a very democratic way.
Okay, that's very interesting. Let me get the Congress member in, Mr. Dalwai. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, Mr. Dalwai, your General Secretary has raised a serious debate in this country, though the UPA government has officially on the floor of the House today, you were also there, I think, in the Rajya Sabha. denied that the government has any such ideas, but we are not talking of what the government will do in this, it has a very short period in any case to do any of these things. But as a party, as Congress party, do you think that what the suggestion made by Mr. Janardhan Dwivedi is something which needs to be debated within the party?
No, I see, Janardhan Dwivedi ji has said this. These are his personal views, and he has ventilated the feelings of many people, many sections of the society. That's all.
Right.
There is no question of rethinking on this issue by the party. See, one thing is that now the development of Dalits and the Adivasis is there, even OBCs is there.
Yes.
But you see, there is a discrimination. Only economic criteria won't do that. I know the upper class people, they also have some problems with the employment, with the education and all these things. But there is no discrimination as such. Discrimination is, though a Dalit person is educated, though he is a rich, still there is a discrimination. That one has to take in account. Discrimination is there for the Dalits, Adivasis, and even Muslims. Muslims are very much discriminated in all the fields of the society. So I don't think that.
So you think that the caste-based reservations which we have now should continue, and there can't be any change as of this?
No doubt.
Okay.
This will have to be continued, but there can be economic criteria.
There can be economic criteria. There is an economic criteria for OBC reservations. The
And
creamy
it is
layer.
there now. Now
concept,
slowly it is coming.
The concept of creamy layer is very much there. Let me get Nilotpal Basu in this. Nilotpal, this is a debate. You think which is worth having. Mr. Tripathi thinks that there should be a debate on this. Mr. Dalwai, however, feels that there should be no change in the policies. You think the left party, your party, is prepared for a debate on this?
You see, we had a major debate on this subject during the Mandal Commission agitation, and subsequently also many times. I think actually Congress is increasingly betray its lack of sense and direction in the run-up to the elections. See, it's very clear in this country that thousands of years of caste hierarchy has remained there, and certain sections of the society have suffered historically from social discrimination and backwardness. So, as a principle of positive discrimination, there has been reservation, and it has been further refined by the courts of the country to point out that insofar as OBCs are concerned, a creamy layer will have to be taken out while the principle of reservation is applied. I think at this stage, the point is very, very well made. And unfortunately, some sections who have historically enjoyed and the benefits of this social hierarchy, there may be poorer sections among them, but those who are articulating this, I think are trying to altogether remove the impression that there is a caste system in the country, and on the basis of that, caste discrimination and certain castes continue to suffer from such discrimination.
No, Nilotpal, you think that this suggestion raised by the Congress General Secretary is something which has been done with an ulterior motive? You think that there is no merit to the arguments which he makes? He says that for instance, one of his arguments is that it is not, these reservations are not reaching the actual needy people even within the reserved communities.
You see, I agree with Husain Dalwai that this is an individual view of Mr. Dwivedi, and I think the Congress is pulling in many directions. It is embodiment of political frustration. And these logic has been so many times, so many other arguments have been given. Some, I remember, I was a student leader when this anti-Mandal commission agitation was going on. So people were saying that if scheduled caste boys and girls through reservation who get into medical colleges, how will patients be safe in their hands, and so on and so forth. But history of reservations in this country, especially in the south, which started about a century back, has shown that there has been a salutary effect in terms of mainstreaming those sections. You see the effect of reservation will be only felt. These is scientific
Nilotpal,
that only after 3 generations actually get the benefit of such positive discrimination.
Okay, Nilotpal, will come back to it. The issue is now is about caste-based reservation. Dr. Kaushal Kant Mishra. Yes. So you were part of you were president of the Youth for Equality movement. You people were all seen very a lot during those days in 2007, 2008 when the OBC, when those reservations in the higher education institutions were being discussed. You think that the time has come for this whole thing? Do you agree with Mr. Janardhan Dwivedi's view?
Yes, I agree with Mr. Janardhan Dwivedi's view. Another thing that the reservation is basically, we are not against the reservation. Obviously, there are depressed classes, but if we are identifying those classes in the group, whenever there is identification based on any group, it may be any caste, it may be any religion, it may be any group, there is a politics and it is always misused. You have always seen that whenever there is time of election, there is a new sagufa related to the reservation and one community provided reservation. So I am not against.
Jats in Rajasthan are going to be given reservation.
Jats in the Rajasthan as well as Haryana. Okay. So I am not against the reservation first of all. If there is a criteria which is basically based on individualistic criteria, we have as NCP person has said that there is a criteria related to the social backwardness, educational backwardness, economic backwardness, but this criteria must be laid down for an individual so that there will be no politics, and I am full supporting this economic based reservation. Everybody says, the Supreme Court judgment quoted by so many politicians, that reservation is not anti-poverty tool. In the same judgment, Supreme Court has said that the social backwardness, educational backwardness, economic backwardness combinedly lead to the poverty. So ultimately the poverty is the outcome. So if we are providing reservation basically based on poverty, it is not at all discrimination to any caste. Basically what has done this reservation, you see there are initially National Congress, National Party.
What about Mr. Dalwai's point, and I think Nilotpal Basu also supports that point, the fact of social discrimination.
Yes.
The question is of social discrimination.
Social, agreed. But you have seen this reservation has never abolish this discrimination, because you are identifying the persons. Basically there is not a discrimination of person, discrimination is basically of a caste or any religion group as said by our senior leaders. So if we are still identifying those people on the basis of caste or religion, then how you can eliminate discrimination? So first of all we have to undermine this caste and religion, and we should identify everybody as an individual, and individualistic criteria should be laid down, which will help in unification of our country.
Okay. Anant, I'll take your points to all the three politicians in the panel. Before that, let me go to Anant. Anant Bagaitkar, you think that this suggestion coming out of Janardhan Dwivedi at this point of time, what do you think has been what do you think is the motive? You think that within the Congress party there are quite a few people who subscribe to his suggestions, and do you think that the Congress party will be able to debate this within the party in any way?
Now, first thing about let me clear one thing, that is the basic thing. If really anybody wants to change this reservation policy, we will have to change the constitution. We will have to amend the constitution because Indian constitution doesn't provide for economic criteria.
Right.
That one has to keep in mind.
Okay.
First. Second thing about timing. Timing, obviously, we are heading for an general election, and any politician and a very senior office bearer of the Congress party, he will not speak just in the air. That one has to keep in mind. You see, I won't go into that ideological or philosophical side of this issue.
Yeah.
Let us go straight to the political meaning of what Mr. Janardhan Dwivedi has said.
Yes.
You see, there is an undercurrent among the Indian youth. And this youth, these young people, students who are also voters of India, there is an undercurrent. There is an undercurrent and some kind of restlessness against this reservation policy that one can very well sense. And I think the Congress party, which is losing base after base, when Rajiv Gandhi made a speech against Mandal Commission in Parliament, 3-hour speech, very historical they say, but Congress lost its Mandalite base. Congress lost its Dalit base. Congress lost after Ayodhya its minority base. So Congress is losing base after base. Now they know that this emergence of Aam Aadmi Party, emergence of a very aggressive youth who can debate these kind of things, issues like reservation. So obviously the Congress leaders are trying to also address this particular section of the society by making such statements. That is my way of looking at Mr. Janardhan Dwivedi's interview.
Okay, Mr. Dalwai.
This is very plain, and one has to look at it from this practical view.
Absolutely, Mr. Dalwai. Mr. Dalwai, so is it a ploy on the part of the Congress party before the elections to appeal to a certain sections of the youths in this country, whom Rahul Gandhi also says that he represents? So you see that, do you think that there is substance to what Mr. Janardhan Dwivedi is saying, so that it will also help you politically?
See, these are his personal views, and he has said so often that these are my personal views. But one thing is there, those who have got the benefit of reservation, and 2 generations are there, they are getting good, and their class has changed, then that reservation should go to people who have not got it.
Okay.
The lower strata of the society. That feeling is there, or that thinking is there in Dalit community also. Dalit community is also saying that those who have got so much benefit of the reservations, now those who are left out, they should
enjoy it.
But the mechanism of that is being made. You see, there is discrimination, and discrimination is the main thing for which this reservation policy is there.
But Dr.
Mishra, the thing is that it should go down, it should trickle down. That we will have to think over.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Tripathi, two things. One is this trickle down thing which Mr. Dalwai is talking about. Second is what Anant said. I'll come to what Dr. Mishra said later. Anant's point that this is a ploy of the Congress party in the election time to appeal to a certain sections of youths in this country.
I won't say that, but the point that Mr. Husain Dalwai has just made is very important, that what reservation is doing. See, very frankly speaking, if you look at the caste-based reservations, it is making a reserved category in these societies.
No, that is what Dr. Mishra,
scheduled tribes who get reservation.
That is Dr. Mishra's point of view also.
IFS officers. Their children get reservations, and their grandchildren get reservation. And the real scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, students, those who should get those reservations are left out.
Right.
What happens is, this reservation, caste-based, and then based on all these categories is making a reserved category among the reserved sections of our society. Right. Reservation percolates down to only those sections who get reservation in the first generation. Yes. Their second generation gets, their third generation gets. Others are left out. Right. Now, something has to be done, and I think Mr. Dalwai, without saying so, has made this point.
Yes, I think
this has to be debated, this has to be discussed, forget about elections, forget about votes. Right. I think the reservation must go down to the real needy sections of society in different deprived sections.
That's one of the major points which Mr. Janardhan Dwivedi also has made in his statement. Nilotpal, don't you think what Dalwai talks about some kind of an exit policy where people who have already got reservation for a couple of generations.
The idea of no, Mr. Nikam, yes. One point, only yes. One sentence.
Yes.
This idea about socio-economic reservation in admissions of Jawaharlal Nehru University yes. was made and drafted by CPM members.
Absolutely.
One of yes. them is General Secretary of the party today.
Absolutely.
Ask Nilotpal about that
yes,
socio-economic yes. factors of reservation.
I am sure.
Neither merely social, not merely economic. It absolutely. Has to be socio-economic in the Indian context.
Right. Nilotpal?
Exit policy, yes, but exit policy on basis of what? You see,
like Mr. Dalwai said, if somebody, if two generations have used reservations, why should they continue to get reservations? That is, can there be some kind of an exit policy like that?
My point is, why do you need reservation? Today you need reservation because both education and employment in both these areas, you have inadequate opportunity for the youth, regardless of their caste and other social background. So create conditions where there is no dearth of opportunity in education and employment. Automatically there is the reservation, principle of reservation itself will die a natural death.
No, but what about what Mr. Tripathi says about the JNU formula of reservation? Isn't that something which can also be applied in at a larger level?
I appreciate the fact of my friend Tripathi ji talking about JNU, and because his upbringing has been in JNU. And in that context, but JNU is after all not the whole of the country. Therefore, I mean, we have a much larger reality, and in which, as Anant was also trying to point out, I mean, there is a constitutional scheme which has been further defined in the light of the debates and experiences that we had in different parts of the country. And I think there is no need to upset that. I think it is basically being raised afresh because Mr. Dwivedi is upset that the whole political direction of Congress today is in a great disarray.
Okay. No, but there's one point which Dr. Mishra made, which is about the way this thing gets perpetrated continuously when you have reservations on group basis. Instead of that, he says individual-centric reservations instead of group-centric reservations. You think that is a concept which is what I think is the JNU concept also?
I think this is absolutely impracticable because Dr. Mishra may not be knowing. You being a Rajya Sabha television channel would know. Every 10 years, there is a report from the President which is made to be laid on the table of the House, and it is showing that after every 10 years, the gap of, progress of scheduled caste and scheduled tribes with the rest of the mainstream, that is in fact widening.
Okay.
Therefore, I mean, this is the most premature of suggestions.
Mr. Dalwai, what do you think of this idea very quickly about moving from group based to individual centric reservations?
बिल्कुल गलत होगा वो. बिल्कुल गलत। मैं आपको एक उदाहरण देता हूं, मैं आपको
जल्दी
बहुत ही सीखा पढ़ा और अमीर दलित है, गाड़ी में घूमता है, तो भी उसके घर में उसका ड्राइवर खाना नहीं खाता अगर वो ऊंची जात का होगा तो ये भी बात हम लोगों ने ध्यान में रखनी चाहिए। We cannot forget all these things. Caste is a reality in this country and it discriminates everywhere.
So my question is the same, that if you provide anything based on caste, it will never die. So if you want to make casteless India, which is actually the mandate let me finish, sir. Let me finish, please. Okay. Our constitution mandate is casteless India. Okay, and my friend has said that the constitution has said that should be no economic reservation should be given, but the same constitution is saying that our citizen must not be discriminated based on caste, religion, sex or anything. So, but because of this politics, you have seen whenever there is the political party comes in a move, you always say they never go against the group based reservation because they will lose their field. So that is
I think that point you have made quite effectively. Mr. Tripathi, Dr. Mishra's point, would you like to address that point very quickly before we end?
No, I am addressing that point very quickly. That point was addressed by no less a person than Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia, who first talked about reservation in the wider sense of the term. He said, "San sopane bandhi gaat pichde paave 100 mein 60." 60% reservation for the backwards Lohia talked. But in that list, what Lohia did, he put women as the first recipients of that reservation, women belonging to all castes, communities and religions. They were the first category of socially and economically backwards, which Lohia talked about. So the moment you talk about 60% reservation and the first category is women of India.
And minorities also. Mr. Tripathi, Dr. Lohia talked about minorities also.
Even before Lohia, the first backward class commission, Kata-Kavalekkar's commission, which has laid down the criteria of backwardness, in which he himself has mentioned that women, basically the scheduled caste, and the location of from where the person is coming, whether it is village or city.
That is exactly the GNU formula. So anyway, I think this is a debate which cannot be completed in half an hour. But we are glad that we have started this debate.
You didn't ask Nilotpal about the JNU formula.
I asked him about
my upbringing in JNU. My upbringing was in a village.
No, by the way, Nilotpal feels that JNU.
Didn't answer that question.
No, he answered. He said JNU is not India. He said JNU is not India. That was his answer. I think we have to end this. We have to end this discussion. Sorry.
Any scientific
coming from different parts of the country.
Yes.
Basically, any field is science, and
science
is a lab.
Okay, I think we
JNU is a lab, and that can be implemented all over the country.
Dr. Mishra, thank you. We have completely come to the end of the show. But this is a debate which needs to be carried forward. We are glad that we have started this debate today. We hope that this debate will continue and there will be more views coming forth, because this is an issue which needs a larger debate. Thanks to all my guests, Mr. D.P. Tripathi, Husain Dalwai, Nilotpal, Basu, Anant, Bagaitkar and Dr. Mishra. Please keep watching. We'll come back with another issue on Big Picture same time tomorrow.